And one of the things that totally works is blacking out your room. So these little LEDs that are out there, you could say, well, I just put on a face mask or something to block the light. It doesn't really work nearly as well because the light leaks around the mask comes off at night. And so I go through religiously if I'm in a hotel room, and I take these little things called true dark dots. They're little die-cut circles, and I put them over every LED in the room. Blue is the worst, and green is the second worst. And those little smoke detectors that have a green light that flashes once every 5 seconds will completely wreck your hotel sleep. So you'll see me in a hotel room standing on a chair with a little sticker putting it on top of the smoke detector, because otherwise it's impossible to get a good night's sleep.
My favorite hacks for improving sleep are blacking out the room, so whatever means necessary, blackout shades, closing the curtains, putting stuff over blinky lights or clocks. I used to have like an iHome for my phone, and I covered it with tape, covered the clock part of it with tape, just getting all the extra lights out of the room. That's the biggest thing. I do notice with the blackout shades that my body still thinks it's nighttime, so I kind of want one of those lights that glows in the morning to help me wake up a little more.
Cold room and a dark room are very key as well, and a comfortable bed. I can close the curtains and it's pretty dark. It's almost pitch black dark. I put on a quiet fan, and that's blowing air from outside in. The colder the better for me.
My bedroom is pretty small, so it doesn't leave too much room for clutter, but I try to purposefully declutter the space so that when I'm going to bed, all that I'm seeing before I close my eyes and hit the hay is my, bed linens, and then I have these sliding glass doors that close, and so I always will close them right before I go to bed so that I'm not seeing anything outside of my room, and it becomes this little oasis.
Yeah, so I use blackout curtains. I think blackout curtains are extremely important. I also use a dehumidifier, which controls, it has an internal gauge which kind of monitors a correlation between the temperature of the room as well as the humidity, and it outputs the ideal humidity for that corresponding temperature. So I think, the environment, the climate of your bedroom is extremely important. That involves the lights, how bright your lights are. I always use a salt lamp typically for if I do need to turn on a light in the middle of the night, or after 9 o'clock or whatever it is, just so I'm not being exposed to fluorescent lights or anything else that is going to disturb or perturb my ability to fall asleep. I think the main things are just focusing on the climate, so that goes temperature, humidity. Humidity is extremely important because that might foster mold growth or other things, spores that may be in the room building up on the windowsills that you're unaware of. The blackout curtains have been significant help. Any of my friends who say that they wake up early in the morning and they can't fall back asleep, I recommend the blackout curtains for them, and then they tell me that it's been extremely helpful to them as well.
Yeah, I really have done my best to maximize my room for sleep and really just make it the place that I go to sleep. There's no TV in there, nothing to distract me. I have a sound machine because a lot of my challenges with sleep are kind of racing thoughts. So having that sound machine kind of white noise in the background does help me. And then I just have total pitch blackout curtains to make the room as dark as humanly possible. And then I keep the temperature low, around 60 to 65 degrees.
My apartment, the way that it's designed, I needed to create some artificial barriers around the light. So I haven't necessarily tarred and black papered all my windows, but I noticed that there were a lot of ambient lights, like the light on my stove and the timer on my clock, and things that emanated a light that I didn't really need to have lit. And so I make sure that all of those things are turned off. And I really keep everything very neat. I think the clutter is also stressful. It usually indicates to me undone stuff. So my laundry basket isn't out and available because that's just I should do laundry. And I keep everything really clean, and kind of all the doors to the closets shut. The doors to the rest of the apartment are shut. The lighting is very dim. I actually removed the lights that were in the ceiling, and I use just lighting that I have through lamps. I think it's as peaceful and as sort of geared toward being meditative and contemplative as possible.